Troops kill 100 bandits, recover several items in Zamfara. The Supreme Court has adjourned all appeals till Tuesday. INEC says it will no longer declare winners in violent polls. On business, oil steady as fears over US-Iran conflict ease. On sports, Real Madrid beat Atletico Madrid to win Spanish Super Cup in Jeddah. On the international scene, protests pile pressure on Iran after admission. Welcome to Standard Voice Television News. I am Musa Joy Onyiyoda. Now the news in full. No fewer than 100 unrepentant bandits were killed by the joint force of Operation Hadarin Daji in Zamfara State and part of Katsina State between December 2019 and January 2020. The acting force information officer, Captain Ayobami Oni Orisan, made this known in a statement made available to journalists in Gusau on Saturday. He said the troops comprising personnel of the Nigerian Army, Nigerian Navy and Nigerian Air Force, Nigerian Police, Department of State Services, and other security agencies conducted several clearance operations to smoke out and neutralize the recalcitrant bandits from their enclaves. He said so far OPHD troops have flushed out bandits hibernating around Teshar Kuturu, Dankalgo, Gobirawa Junction, Bagega, Kawaye, Duhua, Sabon Brenin, Dankrumi, Dangulubi, Haimbawa, Zango, Ungwarushanu, Tudu Mali, Magazu, Mayanchi, and Gando Forest in Anka, Talata Mafara, Safe, Maru, and Bukuyu local government areas of Zamfara State. He said OPHD ground troops backed by the fighter jets of the air component also cleared Shimfida in Jibia local government area of Katsina State, neutralizing several bandits in the process. The information officer said the renewed use of force against the bandits followed their refusal to embrace the peace process introduced by Governor Bello Matawale of Zamfara State about 6 months ago, as well as the recent upsurge of the bandits in the affected areas. He said during the operations, 10 kidnapped victims were rescued, while 500 rounds of 7.62 special ammunition, 23 motorbikes, 15 AK-47 rifles, 4 general-purpose machine guns, 1 PKM machine guns, 1 rocket-propelled grenade bomb, 1 rocket-propelled grenade tube, 11 fully loaded magazines, 600 rostro cows and 300 rostro sheep were recovered. He further said that during the clearance operations, the troops, in collaboration with the Defense Forces of Niger Republic, apprehended a high-profile gun runner, popularly known as Kunene, who was responsible for the inflow of arms, ammunition, and other dangerous weapons into the region. In addition, Oni Orisan said the troops also apprehended 3 suspected bandits, Abubakar Kri Kolama, Abubakar Ibrahim, and Haruna Alhaji Yaro, as well as 2 notorious drug dealers, Kabir Abubakar Isa and Hamisu Dan Kwamba, at various locations in Zamfara State during the period. He said all the suspects have been profiled and handed over to the relevant security agencies for further investigation and prosecution. He said that the Force Commander and Acting General Officer commanding 8th Division, Nigerian Army Brigadier General Aminu Bande, reassured the people of Zamfara State and other neighboring states of their safety. The information officer urged members of the public to continue supporting the operation by providing timely and credible information to troops through the dedicated emergency telephone numbers earlier provided for prompt and efficient action. Former Governor of Zamfara State, Senator Ahmed Sani Yerima Bakura, has expressed happiness that the Islamic legal system he introduced while in the office is still addressing social vices like gambling, indiscriminate operations of beer parlors, harlots' houses, and many others in spite of the controversy trailing the introduction of the system. The former governor also expressed his interest to contest for the seat of Nigeria's president in the 2023 general elections because, according to him, he is the most qualified person for the presidential office, considering his track record both in public service and political office. Alhaji Ahmed Sani stated this on Sunday in Bauchi while answering questions from reporters after he paid a condolence visit to the families of renowned Islamic scholar Sheikh Dahir Usman Bauchi over the death of his wife and the families of late Prime Minister Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa over the death of his last surviving wife. He added that after serving as a governor for 8 years, senator for another 8 years, there is nothing he will do again other than to contest for the position of president or vice president. The former governor said that APC has set a standard of producing a presidential candidate through direct primaries, and by the grace of Allah, he will contest the primaries even though he did not have money. Alhaji Ahmed Sani said that if elected, he will fight poverty and create more jobs opportunities and infrastructures in order to address the basic problems affecting the socio-economic development of the country. Our reporters, Agwai Ritas and Abubakar Sofian, went round some street in Gusau, the capital of Zamfara State, to hear the pulse of some people, and this is what they said on the move by the former governor to contest for the post of president in the 2023 general election.
My name is Ibrahim Megeli.
Okay, the former governor of Zamfara State, Ahmed Sani, said he wants to be the next president of Nigeria 2023. What do you have to say about this?
Here in Zamfara, we have a lot of people. They are getting up to 10 million people. So you can't control 10 million people and you are going to president. So but I want to wish him the best.
Okay.
If he want to do the best, and I want him to be the best.
So
I wish him all the best. And we are going to respect him as a leader. Thank you very much.
So, are you going to vote in 2023?
I'm going to vote him.
My name is Haruna Adamu Safi.
Okay, sir. There is an ongoing now that said the former governor Ahmed Sani is saying that he wants to be the next president 2023. Please, do you have anything to say about this?
Yes, I have something to say about that. Considering the fact that he is a Nigerian, citizen of Nigeria, and he has every right enshrined by the constitution for him to be voted into power when he opted out for that, for becoming the next president of the country. I believe he has the right, and people that believe with his ideology can vote him into power.
I'm Abdulaziz Musa.
Okay, sir. Sir, the former governor of Zamfara State, Ahmed Sani, had made the intention not to the people that he will be contesting for the next president of Nigeria 2023. What do you have to say about this?
So, to me, I'm Sani Yerima Bakura, former governor of Zamfara State. He's a nice man, a good politician. But to me, I'm not in support for him to contest for president. Yes, because the reason why I want him to be a leader or to be an elder, and he has, although he has a good political career, he's a nice one, but to me, I'm not in support for him to come and contest for president. I want him to leave it for someone that he is more than him.
Okay, sir. So, sir, what if he comes out? Are you going to vote for him?
Yeah, if he come out, I can even vote for him because although I know what he have done before, he have been a governor for 8 years. He have touched all the sectors. He have touched poverty, something like that. But there is some ones that is even more than him. They can do better than him.
Okay,
That's my own opinion.
okay, thank you. As you can see, this has been the opinion of Zamfara people about the statement being made by the former governor of Zamfara State. I'm Ogwai Rita from Standard Voice Television. Thank you.
The appeals on governorship elections in Sokoto and Kano State have been suspended by the Supreme Court of Nigeria. Suspending the hearing on the appeals, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Tanko Mohammed, said the appeals were now scheduled to hold on Tuesday this week. The Chief Justice of Nigeria, Tanko Mohammed, had earlier suspended the sitting twice, following some commotion at the entrance of the court and later due to the illness of one of the 7 justices. Justice Tanko Mohammed said the Kano matter, alongside the 6 other governorship appeals, would be stood down for medical attention to the affected justice, who he did not give the name. Also, those affected are appeals against the election of Governor Emeka Ihedioha of Imo State, Bala Mohammed of Bauchi, Simon Lalong of Plateau, and Samuel Otom of Benue State. Meanwhile, the Sokoto State Police Command says it has deployed no fewer than 1,000 conventional and plainclothes officers and men across the state, as the Supreme Court of Nigeria is set to hear the appeal brought before it by the gubernatorial candidate of the All Progressive Congress (APC) in the 2019 governorship, as well as the supplementary elections Alhaji Ahmed Aliu Sokoto on Monday. The State Commissioner of Police Alhaji Ibrahim Kaoje, who disclosed this to our correspondent in Sokoto on Sunday, said the measure was to ensure that peace reigns before and after the hearing. The CP added that particular attention was being focused on the Sokoto metropolis and environs, as well as on some strategic locations within their vicinities. Kaoje further averred that a 24-hour red alert had been placed and the personnel are on standby round the clock. Meanwhile, the CP has vowed that the strategy will be maintained until further notice, in line with the recent directive issued by the Inspector General of Police on a 24-hour nationwide red alert. Mr. Kaoje expressed delight that zero violence was witnessed during last Friday's congregational prayers across the state. The All Progressive Congress Sokoto State Chapter and its governorship candidate in the 2019 general elections, Alhaji Ahmed Aliu Sokoto, has dragged Governor Aminu Waziri Tambuwal of the People's Democratic Party before the Supreme Court over his re-election. Ahmed Aliu Sokoto, in his submission, challenged the judgment of the governorship election petition tribunal and that of the appeal court that all dismissed his petition for lack of merit. It could be recalled that the tribunal and appeal court had dismissed APC's petition for lacking in merit on the 2nd of October and 22nd of November 2019, respectively. The 4-member panel of justice of the Court of Appeal Sokoto Division, in their unanimous judgment, read by Presiding Justice Hussaini Mukhtar, agreed that the petition filed by APC and its governorship candidate challenging the victory of Governor Aminu Waziri Tambuwal as upheld by the tribunal was lacking in merit. According to a notice signed by Ibrahim Gold, Director, Litigation, dated 10th January 2020, the appeal court will be listed for hearing before the Supreme Court of Nigeria on Monday, 13th January 2020. Katsina State Governor Alhaji Aminu Masari has alleged that 90% of bandits behind renewed armed attack on communities in 5 local government areas in the state are from Niger Republic and Zamfara State. Alhaji Masari, a former Speaker of House of Representatives, alleged that some notorious bandits who refused to accept peace accord and rice smugglers were behind the renewed armed attacks in the 5 local government areas in the state. He disclosed this at a section with journalists at the Government House, Katsina, alleging that Dangote and Dankarami were among those who refused the rapprochement between government and other bandits in the state. The governor had granted amnesty to bandits after a tour to Fulani settlement and strong enclaves of the bandits in Rugu Forest on September 4th to 9th, 2019, during which the renowned bandits and forest commanders denounced banditry and accepted peace. The initiative was brokered alongside other governors in Northwest after the Inspector General of Police Mohammed Adamu convened a peace summit in Katsina State, leading discussion with some bandits from the affected states, namely Katsina, Kebbi, Niger, Sokoto, Kaduna, and Zamfara State. But renewed attacks on villages in the local government had forced residents, particularly businessmen and herders, to flee their ancestral home to the affected local government headquarters and state capital for safety. But at the session Friday night, Masari said the state government, in collaboration with security operatives in the state, would use technology to unmask the unrepentant bandits from their hideout and restore peace, order in Katsina and Northwest. He also pointed out that about 90% of the notorious bandits who refuse to embrace peace accord live in Zamfara State, not in Katsina State. Masari, however, said the peace agreement he reached with bandits was still on course, despite the resurgence of banditry and other nefarious activities in 5 local government areas: Jibia, Batsari, Doksma, Kafru, and Malufashi. He attributed what happened in Malufashi to the activities of those smuggling rice and other commodities from Niger Republic to Nigeria. He said the smugglers often invited bandits to come and clear the road for them. The governor said the bandits are now invading their homes in Jibia with the active connivance of the people living in Jibia and promised to deal with this issue. First Lady of Nigeria, Dr. Mrs. Aisha Buhari, has distributed food items to 52 groups in Bauchi State through her pet project Future Assured. This is part of the ongoing humanitarian activities that the First Lady has been engaging on across the country. The exercise took place on Thursday, the 9th of January 2020. The First Lady was represented at the distribution by the wife of the Bauchi State Governor, Hajia Aisha Bala Mohammed, who delivered the First Lady's goodwill message and distributed the food items to the group of beneficiaries. Hajia Aisha Bala Mohammed informed the gathering of the beneficiaries that the mother of the nation was passionate about the less privileged and does not discriminate amongst the poor, as religious, ethnic, and other diverse groups have benefited from the distribution of the food items, which cover the 20 local government areas of the state. Mrs. Hassana Hakila, leader of the Christian Association of Nigeria Women, thanked Mrs. Buhari and said the impact of the kind gesture by the Nigerian First Lady was very significant at a time like this when the poor needed it the most, while Malam Moshood Suleiman, speaking on behalf of the Muslim beneficiaries, assured the First Lady that the food items will reach the intended beneficiaries. Mrs. Bala Mohammed, also speaking on behalf of the Bauchi State beneficiaries, expressed gratitude to the First Lady, Mrs. Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, and her Future Assured program for the unprecedented humanitarian gesture to Bauchi State people, the first of its kind in the state. The food items distributed include a large number of 50 kg bags of rice, cartons of spaghetti, and gallons of vegetable oil. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board set the date for the sales of its registration document for the 2020 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination still stands, despite the suspension of the National Identification Number. The board said Media and Information Dr. Fabian Benjamin, who disclosed this in an interview on Sunday, said that the process for the acquisition of the PIN remained the same. He said aside the now suspended use of NIN by the board's management, all other processes remain the same. According to him, no other new process had been introduced by the board, as being speculated by some section of the public. He said portal for the registration is expected to be activated on Monday, January 13th, the day for the commencement of the sales of the documents. Meanwhile, Mr. Benjamin stated that it has come to the notice of the board that a large number of candidates who have been offered admission for 2019 UTME were yet to accept it. He said it was discovered that some candidates are mistaking such acceptance as being the one put in place by their universities of choice. He therefore called on all candidates that have been offered these admissions to do the needful as the board rounds off the process for the 2019 admission on February 17th. If the recent threat by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, is anything to go by, then it will no longer be business as usual for politicians who rely on violence and other means outside the confines of the law to be declared winners and defend same at the law courts. The Commission has vowed that going forward, even though it has no power to cancel elections, it will no longer declare winners in manipulated elections or where returning officers are threatened. The electoral umpire also said that elections will no longer proceed in any constituency where the safety of voters, personnel, and materials is threatened. INEC Chairman Mahmoud Yakub gave the hints at the meeting of the Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory. According to him, going forward, INEC has decided that although the Commission has no power under the law to cancel an election, it will not proceed with the process in any constituency where the safety of voters, its personnel, and materials is threatened. Furthermore, collation of results will not proceed where the collation centers are invaded, and there will be no declaration of winner where returning officers are threatened. Meanwhile, the Commission decried security lapses that marred the 2019 general elections, especially the Bayelsa and Kogi governorship elections. It therefore vowed to adopt a different approach to election security. According to Yakub, it is the responsibility of the security agencies to secure the environment for the successful conduct of elections. The purpose of security deployment during election is to protect the voters, election officials, and materials, accredited observers, the media, and to safeguard the integrity of the processes generally, including the polling unit and collations center. We'll be right back after this short commercial break. Stay tuned.
Menene amfanin gari idan har babu zaman lafiya?
Mecece jiha idan babu shugaba mai adalci? Mecece rayuwa idan ba yanci?
Me amfanin karatu idan har ba aiki?
Menene mahimmancin zabe idan babu roman demokradiyya?
Menene amfanin tarihi idan har ba za a samu darasi daga cikin sa ba?
Jihar Zamfara ta can ta kasance a bar sha'awa. Gashi kuma sansanin noma da kasuwanci.
Gurin da kowa ke sha'awar zuwa. Amma sai abubuwa suka juya.
Amma sai kasance yanzu da zarar an ambaci sunan Zamfara, tunanin wata musifa da ko bala'i shine ke darsu a zakatan mutane.
Baki suka daina zuwa, 'yan gari suka fara guduwa. Talauci da tashin hankali suka yi yawa.
Gashi jihar mu mai haske, ta dawo ta yi duhu.
Sa'an nan mutanen Zamfara sai muka tashi tsaye, muka kama addu'o'i da tuba ga Ubangijinmu.
Sai kuwa Allah ya amsa addu'anmu, sai ya kawo mana matawallan muradi.
Dodon makiya zaman lafiya, dodon talauci, dodon makaryata da masu yaudara.
Me yi kuma dan Allah, me kishin mutane.
Me kuma neman gwamnati ba don kansa ba.
Cikin kankanin lokaci sai gashi ya dawo mana da hasken Zamfara, amma ta fi yadda take da.
Wannan shi ake nufi da shugaba.
Jarumi ba malalaci ba.
Ma'aikaci ba barawo ba.
Allah ka kare mana zababben gwamna matawalin Maradi.
Allah kuma ya ƙara masa lafiya, Allah kuma ya ƙara ɗaukaka.
Wannan saƙo ne daga gwamnatin jihar Zamfara ƙarƙashin jagorancin Bello Muhammad Matawallan Maradun MON kuma bardan ƙasar Hausa.
Welcome back on Business. Jemima Samuel has more detail.
Oil price held steady on Monday as fears of conflict between the United States and Iran eased, with investors shifting their focus to this week's scheduled signing of initial US-China trade deal, which could boost economic growth and demand. Brent crude was up 1 cent at $64.99 per barrel at 07:37 GMT, while West Texas Intermediate crude was up 5 cents at $59.09 a barrel from the previous session. Oil prices surged to their highest in almost 4 months after U.S. drone strike killed an Iranian commander, and Iran retaliated with missiles launched against U.S. base in Iraq. But they slumped again as Washington and Tehran retreated from the brink of direct conflict. Global benchmark Brent touched $71.75 per barrel last week, before ending on Friday below $65. The possibilities of war between the United States and Iran has disappeared. For the week, the signing of the US-China trade deal would fit oil and expectation for high demand, said Kim Wang-Kre, a commodity analyst at Samsung Futures in Seoul. Backwardation in Brent, a market structure where prices for near-term contracts are higher than those for later contracts, is currently at 72 cents per barrel from 84 cents a week earlier, whereas the WTI backwardation is at 4 cents a barrel from 23 cents last week. Backwardation tends to reflect tightening supplies as the narrowing of values indicate that worries over supply disruption are receding. The foundation for WTI remain weak for the coming months and stocks are expected to build at Cushing, said Veranda Chandhan, an oil analyst at Energy Expert in Singapore. For Brent, which is a broader indicator of the global crude market, it is a combination of supply and demand. Sentiment appears to have turned in a corner on the trade war front, where some green shoots regarding industrial activities and start of the fiscal stimulus could mean demand surprise to the upside. A US-China trade deal is due to sign in Washington on Wednesday. And that's all we have on Business Desk. I am Jemima Samuel. Over to Musa Joy.
Thank you, Jemima. On sports, Sufyan Abubakar has more detail.
Thank you, Joy Musa. My name is Abu Sufyan Abubakar, and as usual, I bring the sports update. Spanish giant Real Madrid defeated City rivals Atletico Madrid in the Super Cup España to win the trophy for the second time in 4 years. Both teams couldn't break the deadlock for the whole 90 minutes plus 30 minutes extra time, thanks to world-class performance from both keepers, Thibaut Courtois and Jan Oblak. Real Madrid had Valverde sent off in the second half of extra time after bringing down Alvaro Morata, who was clear and almost certain to score before the tackle.
During the penalty shootout, Saul Niguez and Thomas Partey both missed their respective penalties before Real Madrid's captain Sergio Ramos slot in his penalty to make the final penalty scoreline 4-1 in favour of the Galacticos. And here are the results of the major games played in Europe over the weekend. Manchester United defeated Norwich City 4-0 in the English Premier League. Rashford, Martial and Mason Greenwood were all on the score sheet, while Crystal Palace played a 1-1 draw with Arsenal. Aubameyang scored the opener before getting sent off minutes after Jordan Ayew's equalizer. Chelsea defeated Burnley 3-0 at home. Jose Mourinho's Tottenham Hotspur lost at home to Liverpool FC, thanks to a Roberto Firmino first-half opener to ensure that Liverpool continued their fine run of form. It's now on 12 consecutive victories for Liverpool in the English Premier League. Aston Villa lost at home 1-6 against Manchester City, with Sergio Kun Aguero scoring a hat-trick, now surpassing English legend Alan Shearer in terms of number of hat-tricks in the English Premier League. In Italian Serie A, Juventus defeated AS Roma at the Olympic Stadium, while Inter Milan played a 1-1 draw with Atalanta at the San Siro. Ibrahimovic's AC Milan defeated Cagliari 0-2 away, while Lazio defeated Napoli at home 1-0. And that's all we have on sports today. Back to Joy Musa in the studio.
Thank you, Sufyan. And on the international scene. Following Iran's military admission that it had mistakenly shot down a Ukrainian airliner, Iranian protesters and newspapers piled pressure on the country's leadership. Consequently, riot police stepped up their presence in Tehran on Sunday. Riot police fired tear gas at thousands of Iranians who had taken to the street late on Saturday in the capital and other cities, many chanting death to the dictator, directing their anger at Iran's top authority supreme leader Ali Khamenei. Reporters of the protests were carried by state-affiliated news agency, while video clips circulated on social media. Tehran residents told Reuters that police had stepped up their presence in the capital on Sunday morning. Apologize and resign, Iran's moderate Etamad Daily wrote in a banner headline on Sunday, saying the people's demand was for those responsible for mishandling the plane crisis to quit. All 172 people aboard the flight, many of them Iranians with dual citizenship, were killed. Protests erupted after Saturday's admission that the military accidentally shot down the Ukraine International Airlines plane minutes after takeoff on Wednesday, when Iranian forces were alert for U.S. reprisals after tit-for-tat strikes. For days, Iranian officials had vigorously denied it was to blame, even as Canada, which had 52 citizens on the flight, and the United States said their intelligence indicated an Iranian missile was to blame, albeit probably fired in error. That has been the news from Standard Voice Television. To end the news, a quick look at the major headlines. Troops killed 100 bandits, recover several items in Zamfara. The Supreme Court has adjourned all appeals till Tuesday. INEC says it will no longer declare winners in violent polls. On business, oil steady as fears over U.S.-Iran conflict ease. On sports, Real Madrid beat Atlético Madrid to win Spanish Super Cup in Jeddah. On the international scene, protests pile pressure on Iran after admission. Thanks for watching. I still remain Musa Joy Onioda. Stay tuned.